So hello everyone. Today being my first day doing a video with the voice recording. I hope you will do up with me. I've not gotten the right equipment at the moment, but let's hope everything will just be okay. So today was a good day. We traded, we made money. It was news day. There was NFP, and it was quite a good setup that we got today. So today we're not going to talk much. I'll explain myself later on as time goes on, my names, and stuff. But as of today, let's just do the breakdown of the trade, and then the other stories will be for another day, for another video, hopefully, if all goes well. So I'm going to explain how I caught this nice trade on USDJPY. It was quite a setup, over 180 pips, and I'm glad I was able to do this much. Yeah, so since I decided to be sharing my setups, documenting my journey with you guys, let's do this. Let me just jump to the setup. So let's get rid of this. So what I normally do, I look for buyers from the higher time frame. Buyers. I also look for bias is simply the direction. Then I look for the break. I also look for my liquidity. And structure. And then what else do I look for? The stop hunt and point of interest. Stop hunt and point of interest. For entries. Yeah, so basically this is simply what I look for while doing my analysis. So first of all, we are going to look for the bias. I normally get my bias from the high time frames. When I say from the high time frames, I simply mean the monthly, weekly, daily, and sometimes we can go to the 4-hour bias, but it's not that advisable. Though today I did a trade on the 4 hours bias, and it was quite a good trade. I normally trade USDJPY, so it's the one that we're going to be using most of the time. Yeah, but if you feel like you want us to check any other pair, you can just simply type in the comment section. Yeah, so let's start. To start with, I normally use the alchemist strategy or price point. Yeah, it's a combination of Malaysian SNR and SMC, smart money concepts. So to begin with, I'll look for the bias. The bias, I normally look for the either resistance, QML, OCL, or support. If you are familiar with the MSNR or SNR, I hope the terms won't be that confusing to you. So for the bias, I'll have this. This is a support level, not a support really, but a resistance. You can check on the line chart. It's a resistance level. So after getting the bias, basically what we look in the bias is either of the points that have indicated, or of the zones that I've just said, either there is a reaction or a reaction by a week. Yeah, if there is a reaction, we have our bias. So the on at this point we have the reaction from this resistance here. So we are going to drop down to the 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour time frame, to look for the breakout. So this is where we had our reaction. So that you're not confused, to avoid confusion, let's just indicate that dot there. It's a highlighter pen, and also let's get rid of this. So after getting our reaction from that zone, we are done with this trend line. It's just an indication of where the wick reacted from. So we are going to look from for the breakout. The breakout, you can just switch to the line chart if you are a beginner, or if you're advanced, you are going just to look for the breakout on the chart, on the bar chart. Yeah, so this was the breakout. It was this zone, and then I did some adjustments. Yeah, you are going to do these adjustments, you'll get better eventually. Yeah, that was the breakout. After the breakout, we are going now to go to a lower time frame. Everything that we do specifically at its own time frame. So the bias was the 4 hours time frame, the breakout the 1 hour time frame, and then for the liquidity structure, stop and point of interest on different time frames. Yeah, but the both of these ones, they are going to be picked from the same time frame. So we're going to drop down to the 15 hours, or to the 15 minutes. Sorry guys, 15 minutes. So adjust this to that week, and then just, this was not there before, and I've not paid for my subscription has ended for the replay, but I'm going to update it. So we are now checking for three things. The first thing is for the we are checking for the stop and liquidity and also point of interest. But on point of interest, I'm going to show you something that we'll be normally referring from the high time frames, and then coming down to the low time frames as we adjust the point of interest. So we're going to look for the stop and this was my initial markings, but for the purpose of learning, let's just do away with them. Yeah, so since we had our break, we confirmed that our bias is bearish. Since our break was bearish, we had a bearish break. So this was the break marking. This one, it was from this zone, and then we adjusted it to the wick. So we are going to have our stop hunt. Stop hunt is mainly a sweep of liquidity. So we had this liquidity, and then it was swept. The liquidity was swept by these two candles here. So we are going to indicate that. Let's just let me do something here. Let's say that these are stop hunt. So, and then we're going to check for the liquidity. This is our liquidity. Liquidity is basically a a 3 candle formation, and then the middle candle has a relatively longer wick compared to the others. So this is our liquidity. Let's indicate it by the letter L. Yeah, that's our liquidity. So finding the point of interest, we are going to look for the point of interest from our first time frame. So from our first time frame is here. So we have this liquidity, and the point of interest must always be above our liquidity. So our point of interest, we have this zone here. Yeah, we have that zone right there, over there. Then we're going to go down to our 1 hour time frame. The zone, we are going to adjust the zone to this one here. Then drop to our 15 minutes for more modification of the point of interest. This one is our liquidity, and we're going to modify our point of interest to this zone here, right here. So initially, before NFP, actually this setup was before NFP, but I don't worry when holding trades during news, cause from what I know is that news basically normally accelerates the setup. If it was a buy setup, just hold the setup and be sure that news is either going to accelerate or it's going to be on your side. News is always a catalyst. So after adjusting our our point of interest, this is where we just put our sell limit like that. Let me turn off this magnet for now. So this was the initial setup without the move having happened. This was the initial setup, and I was targeting this side. This side was the sell, was the buy side liquidity. This is what I was targeting. Yeah, so this was my initial setup before everything happened. And I normally use a tight stop loss. I use a 10 pips stop loss maximum, and in some cases I normally use even 2 pips, 2 to 3 pips stop loss. Yeah, so that's how I was activated. I was activated actually by before news, and that's how I managed to catch that clean setup. Yeah, using my strategy. My strategy is basically under those 4 things. I normally look for the bias, breakout, liquidity and structure, stop point, and point of interest. Yeah, there's much more to learn. Trading is not all about strategy and execution. Trading is very much more, very deep, very it's something very deep. To understand it, you must commit a lot of time to it. Yeah, so that's how I managed to get it was a 13 RR. My stop loss was exactly 8 pips. Yeah, so thank you guys. For today we are going to do that short video, but eventually I will do longer videos on everything that we do. Yeah, also psychologically, execution and stuff. I'll teach you everything. Thank you.